Australian native orchids really are gorgeous, gorgeous plants. All orchids from anywhere in the world are fabulous because they do things that most other plants can't. Now what's that? Well, they're called epiphytes, and so many of them will grow up above the ground in something or hanging from something or whatever, which means you can create effects where other plants would simply die. What are we going to do? Well, we're going to get some of these Australian native orchids and we're going to plant them in a hollow log. There I am, that's me at the other end. Hollow logs around. Do remember, you're not supposed to take these out of areas of the environment. If it's from a farm where they're just going to rot away, well, fine, but don't wreck our precious country. But anyway, these are Dendrobium kingianum. It's one of the varieties of Dendrobium rock orchids that you see in Australia, typically do grow on rocks. What we will do is fill this with some orchid compost, and then we'll try a couple of different effects with it. It's going to be a lot of fun. You can do despicable things to orchids. For instance, you can pull them apart. So what I'm going to try and do with this little bit here is make this a little bit larger, and we can poke a couple of tiny bits of orchid in here. Next step, fill it up. You must use special orchid compost. Orchids do not grow in general in soil. If you're terrified about doing nasty things to the roots of an orchid, don't be at all. In fact, you can cut all the roots off virtually any orchid and they'll just laugh at you. They don't care. Orchids' roots are often just to hold the thing in place. They're not that pivotal. They're just like a little grappling hook or something. There's enough food storage in the stem that even if you've done despicable things, this one just fell off by like breaking them off or whatever, they just re-root at a node, that's a joiny bit, and they re-establish. Now this is the one I'm going to try and break a bit off and then shove it in that hole. Again, no need to worry about being gentle. Might think that's a pretty bodgy sort of a job, but given the right conditions, that will establish in there and it will be fine. And frankly, the two bits on the end are lovely. That's art. See, that's what I like, that's art. So if anybody ever asks you, that's the difference. That bit there's art. Now you can place your log in some natural spot around the garden, and if you're happy with the way it looks, that's fine. You might notice we've got more of the same orchid behind here, just with a rock retaining some orchid mix behind it. It's up to you how you use it, but there is another way and maybe better. I really think this is better. What we've done here is to hang the log up in a tree. No reason you can't do that. Just a couple little screw eyes, and if you're wondering about attaching it to the tree, this is a great way to attach anything to a tree with a couple of eyes that you can screw in, or you could put an eye bolt right through the middle and tighten up the nuts on the other side. Now that might seem terrible, that is a very gentle thing to do to a tree. Whereas if you wrap the wire around the branch, you would probably kill the branch. This is a good way of keeping the branch alive in the orchids. But aren't they lovely things? Dendrobium kingianum, it's a native orchid. There are lots of hybrids from this one too, but you can get some fabulous effects. A few more weeks, massed with flower, you'll bless the day you did something like that.